everyone, to another episode of the Intellectual Saviors of Wrestling with your hosts, the Master of the Brain Damage,
Martin,
and the one and only Sam H. And this is Raw review from 24th of October, the final Raw before the historic Hell in a Cell, of which there are 3.
Yeah, haven't been reminded enough of that. Now we've opened the show on a very emotional note.
Terrible.
I can't believe it happened.
Tragic news.
Somebody, some horrible human being, has stolen the list of Jericho.
Damn it. Why would you do it?
Yeah, we had a very, very emotional Chris Jericho in the ring. I've not seen this upset in quite a long time.
Not since his jacket got destroyed.
Oh, jeez, don't remind him of that, man, for the love of God. Right. It's alright. He had his best friend come out not long after to console him. Even if he did tell him he didn't care about the list. And then we had the Raw GM come out. No. We had the Commissioner of Raw come out.
Yes.
She was trying to console Chris and at the same time pull yourself together, man. And then he got interrupted by none other than Seth Rollins.
Seth frickin' Rollins.
Yeah. And he had something behind his back.
I like this part.
And then Jericho's like, there it is! There's the list! You've got to get it back, Rollins! Whoa, I haven't got the list. I don't know where it is. It's in your right hand. No, it's not. It's in your other hand now. No, it's not. And he's sort of looking around for a minute, and then he's like, look, I found the list.
He's got the list.
It's been found.
And he went through some of the names on the list.
Yeah.
He remarked that Xavier Woods was on the list twice.
Xavier doesn't like to be reminded of that. He didn't want to be on that list. No, but then didn't it sort of go missing again?
Yeah, Seth said he was taking it with him, and Jericho wanted it. He had to come and get it.
Yeah, which is what he tried to do, but then Seth lost it.
Well, he said he left it in the locker room backstage, and it was picked up by someone you really didn't want it to be picked up by.
But more of that later on in the show.
Yes.
As the mystery for the list of Jericho continues. And Chris also threatened, he was like, if I don't have the list, I'm not in the triple threat match tonight. I'm not doing it.
It's a very important list.
Yeah. So, our opening match of the night, we had Enzo Amore versus Carl Anderson.
Yeah, this is a bit of a strange rivalry, which I'm not quite sure why they're feuding. They haven't put any number 1 contendership on the line or anything.
Nah, you did have quite a funny segment at the start though, because Enzo and Cass came out, and Anderson and Gallows cut off their mics and said, look, we don't want to hear it anymore. We know what you're going to say. We're bored of it. And then Enzo just holds his fist out. He's just there going, I got a mic right here. I don't need that anymore.
Very clever improv.
Yeah.
Apparently, Gallows and Anderson have a good brother in the production truck.
They've got all these connections. I don't know where they get them from.
And they pulled their microphones. It was like, no, we ain't gonna hear it.
But we did anyway.
Yeah. And the crowd went along with it. They know it by now.
You'd know it after a couple of weeks.
We knew it before the crowd knew it, because we watched NXT.
Yeah. Well, it got a little bit crappy. Yeah, so yeah, it was a decent match between the two. Again, building up this rivalry that's come along from nowhere.
Yeah, which we're still trying to work out what the point of it.
And apparently they're going to be fighting at Hell in a Cell now as well.
Yeah, in a proper tag team match.
So yeah. And then in the end, Enzo picked up the victory over Anderson.
With a very cheeky assist from Big Cass.
Yes.
I mean, Christ, the man can get his boot pretty high. I mean, it was above the first rope.
Sheesh.
I was like, Jesus Christ, you wouldn't want to be hit with that boot.
Oh.
Not quite the boot of doom, but it's still a good boot.
Yeah. It's a boot, nevertheless. So yeah, and then moving on to our next match, which also involved tag teams.
Oh, good.
We had your Raw WWE Tag Team Champions, The New Day,
Yeah.
who quite obviously aren't going to lose the titles until after they've broken Demolition's record.
You never know.
They're not going to be losing it at Hell in a Cell, we'll say that much.
Well, they won't be losing it in Survivor Series either.
No, because they won't be defending.
No.
Yeah, New Day versus Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yeah, it's a strange one to be giving this match away right now, right 3 days before the pay-per-view.
Yeah, although we did have a funny Game of Thrones-esque segment with the New Day when they were shaming Sheamus.
Shame.
Shame.
Shame us.
Yeah. Well, they said it shouldn't be shame us, it should be shame you. So, of course, it's ticked off Sheamus a bit. And they continued with their usual argumentativeness over their entrances. Cesaro came out and then he was quickly interrupted by Sheamus. He didn't get the chance to do his stripper suit entrance.
Well, there's his James Bond thing with the target move.
Yeah. But yeah, this match was weird, I thought, because Sheamus and Cesaro were still arguing, then all of a sudden, halfway during the match, they just started working a bit together.
Yeah.
So, yeah. To be fair, I'm not convinced by this whole rivalry. I mean, forcing two singles wrestlers together 9 times out of 10 doesn't work.
Yes. It's what they're going for. They're trying to do the whole Team Hell No thing again.
Yeah.
But the difference being that Daniel Bryan is a superior athlete.
Yeah.
And Kane knows how to do comedy, let's be honest.
He does. And who can forget? Was it Bedazzle?
Bedazzle, Curly Kane.
Curly Kane.
Look it up on YouTube. Bedazzle, Curly Kane. It's hilarious.
If you haven't already watched it, shame.
Yeah, shame you.
Shame. Yeah. So going back to the match. Unfortunately, the New Day didn't pick up the victory in this one.
No, like you said earlier, about halfway during the match, Sheamus and Cesaro did just start working with each other. And I think it ended with Sheamus hitting the bro kick on one of them.
Yeah. I think it might have been Big E.
Yes, because Kofi jumped outside the ring and he got caught with that uppercut.
Yes, he did.
And then Big E walked into the bro kick.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they started arguing again on the way out.
Yeah. Very, very strange.
Sheamus was like, I picked up the win, raise my hand, don't raise his hand.
Yeah.
And this strange rivalry continues.
And just when we thought things can get any weirder, we then had Dana Brooke in the ring for our next match. And they informed us that she would be facing off in a rematch against Bailey. So Bailey then came out, done a entrance with the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing two men. And then Dana then informed us that, yeah, she's going to have a rematch against Bailey, but it's not going to be a wrestling match.
Ugh.
It's going to be an arm wrestle match.
Christ almighty.
And it was so fixed and fake, it was unbelievable. Because Dana decided what arms he used, which conveniently she injured Bailey's arm the other week. So, conveniently, Dana picked Bailey's poor arm.
Yeah.
As the one she'd be using.
Now, I must point out that the crowd were chanting, "We want wrestling," and boring, and many other things.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, the two women involved, they're very good wrestlers. I don't know why they're pulling out these stupid stunts like this. I mean, you get it when you've got people like, Mark Henry and The Big Show and even Chris Masters. You get silly little gimmicks like that. But
Yeah.
for two women wrestling, nah, it don't quite cut it.
No.
Very lazy booking.
Well, they did this with Triple H and Scott Steiner about 13 years ago. And even back then they were chanting boring and "We want wrestling."
Well, you've forgotten the most controversial arm wrestle contest. Mr. McMahon
Christ.
and Zach Gowen.
Oh, no, that was just... Oh. No, don't bring that up. I don't want to be reminded of that rivalry.
No, we don't. If you're that interested, look it up.
I wouldn't. I mean, it's just... Oh. I can't even describe it. Vince McMahon beating up a one-legged man is just...
Well, there you go. Answer this question for us. What's the most ridiculous rivalry at a Mr. McMahon rivalry, right? You got your choices are him versus Zach Gowen, or him and Shane versus Shawn Michaels and God.
Oh, God. or to make even better, I mean, he's had a rivalry which no one really has mentioned, about Vince McMahon versus Donald Trump. The Battle of the Billionaires.
Yeah. Oh, I've got another one for you. Highly controversial rivalry. Vince versus his daughter, Stephanie.
Ooh. No Mercy 2003.
Do not watch it. It's painful.
I wouldn't. I mean...
Just watching a guy beat on his own daughter. No.
You know how much crap they got into for the ending of that match? My God.
Yeah, we're getting off subject.
Yeah, we're way off subject.
Right, our next match. I was really disappointed with this match, personally. They built it up really well before a certain someone come down to complete the match, and I just think they completely dropped the ball on this one. We had Curtis Axel versus Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
Now, we were in Curtis Axel and Brock Lesnar's hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I'll give him his dues. Curtis Axel cut a hell of a promo before the match.
He did, and the crowd were into it.
Yeah. Laying claims about his predecessors in his family, his granddaddy, the Axel, and of course his father that I really don't like the reference that them two are related.
No.
Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig.
But you can blame our former friend John Laurinaitis for that. Very sad.
Yeah. And yeah, he cut a hell of a promo. I thought it was brilliant. And I just thought, right, yeah, let's get behind this guy. Let's do something with him. And then he has to face Bo Dallas.
Oh, good.
And of course, reminding us that you have to Bo leave, but only he's allowed to Bo leave.
I've just never been a fan of Bo Dallas, even when he was in NXT. I mean, Christ, if you look at a couple of years ago, before he was even doing this whole thing, they made him eliminate Wade Barrett from the Royal Rumble.
Oh, jeez. That was when Wade was meant to be getting his huge push. Yeah, so, I mean, I was... Curtis Axel, he'd really got me on board with that promo. I was rooting for him, and obviously being in his hometown, you think, give the guy the win.
Yeah, the crowd were heavily behind him. I'm not sure what the whole skull thing means. It's a Minnesota thing, but he did it, and the crowd were doing it along with him.
Yep. And then, unfortunately, Bo Dallas picked up the victory.
Confusing decision, to say the least.
What WWE are doing with Bo Dallas, nobody has a freaking clue.
No.
I mean, he lost to the Chinese guy who they signed a few months back when they went on tour over in the Far East. I think of his name now. Is it Tian Bing? I think.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't know.
He was on NXT this week. He was teaming up with someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So drop the ball there, WWE. Good one.
You gotta love their logic sometimes.
Oh, and then it keeps on getting better. Then we had the incredibly pointless tag team match. The Golden Truth with Mark Henry against the Shining Stars and Titus O'Neil in their corner.
Yeah. I mean, well, this is a throwaway match. Let's be perfectly honest.
Like, I don't even care. I'm not even going to talk about the match. Golden Truth won.
Yeah.
If you're that bothered about it, watch it. It's 5 minutes of your life you'll never get back.
To be honest, I wasn't even paying attention to it. I think I was playing something else.
Yeah. And then the next part of your event was the signing of the contracts for the women's Hell in a Cell match.
And you know what? I was disappointed with this thing.
Well, I was disappointed with it for many reasons, but what was your specific reason?
Well, as pointed out, 99.9% of these contract signings end in some sort of shenanigans, the table going over, fisticuffs flying, and it didn't happen.
No, it did not.
It was very calm.
Yeah, and it's like, I get the whole, Mick being out there to, make it all official when the contracts are signed, he's the Raw GM afterwards, but did he really have to bang on for 5 minutes about how grueling and punishing Hell in a Cell matches are and how they're not thinking logically about what they're getting into?
Yeah.
Coming from the guy who's had at least 4 Hell in a Cell matches himself, he's hardly a guy in a position to be giving advice on it.
And this is the point that really gets me. It's like, Mick, they like to bring up how Hell in a Cell ended Mick Foley's career.
It didn't.
And here's the thing. His last Hell in a Cell match was 2000 against Triple H.
No way out.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did he not have a match with Edge, Street Fight, at a WrestleMania, a good, 6 years after that?
Yeah, about that. And did he not wrestle at WrestleMania 2 months after that pay-per-view?
Yeah. And he wrestled at the ECW pay-per-view 2 months after that WrestleMania. So how come they can go along this whole, Hell in a Cell ended Mick's career?
It did. and as well, bone idle laziness from WWE. Apparently, Charlotte's changed her name now.
Yes.
Yeah, she's now Charlotte Flair.
It's confusing.
I mean, obviously, we all knew she was Rick's daughter, but yeah, I don't get why all of a sudden they've decided, yeah, we're going to chuck Flair in there now.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they're really going to, why don't they stop calling her Charlotte? Let her use her real name. Call her Ashley.
Yeah, there's always that. So long story short, they signed the contracts.
Yeah, sign the contract.
And of course, going away from Mick dropping the ball last week and revealing that Charlotte and Sasha's headlining Hell in a Cell, they're now saying, "Oh, we've got a triple threat main event."
Now, they can promote that all they want, say, "Oh yeah, this is your main event," but to me, the main event is always the match that goes on last, however you word it.
Yeah. So, yeah. I just don't think they've got the balls to say, yeah, the women are headlining a pay-per-view.
And they should.
Yeah, they should. They're both arguably the best wrestlers to come out of the company since Trish and Lisa.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd completely agree with it.
You know, there's no harm in admitting it. Yeah, these two women are headlining a pay-per-view. First time ever.
I don't think they have confidence in their decisions sometimes.
No, they don't. No, 100% agree with you on that one.
So, yeah. What have we got next?
Oh, we got a cruiserweight match.
Cool.
We got the man that you can't handle, Rich Swann, versus the Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, another
He's the man with a plan.
Apparently so. This was another confusing match.
Yeah, because obviously Brian Kendrick's facing TJ Perkins this Sunday for the Cruiserweight title.
Yes.
And you'd think, go in with him having the momentum into the pay-per-view, but no, he lost.
Yeah, to a roll-up.
Yeah. Good one.
It's like, okay, your number one contender, the story they're putting together of Brian Kendrick is desperate to win the Cruiserweight title, this is his last shot, and you can't even beat Rich. What?
Yeah. Right. Gonna very briefly touch on the next segment because we're rubbish. Long story short, you had that stupid big idiot Braun Strowman come out with his Superman tattoo on his arm.
Oh dear.
And he refused to fight Sami Zayn.
Yes, because he's not competition.
Yet he'll fight 3 jobbers.
Yeah, I mean, this went back and forth for about a minute. Sami Zayn got a couple of shots in, and Braun tossed him into a barricade and walked off.
Yep. Let's not forget his epic victory 3 weeks ago against the Splash Brothers.
Oh, how about last week's one against the Mile High Club?
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, now this rivalry does neither man any favours, and yeah, that's all I got to say on it.
Yeah. So, and then the next part was the moment the whole of the crowd have been waiting for. Their hometown boy, Brock Lesnar. Of course, with Mr. Paul Heyman. Now, this promo was awful. I don't want to try and put too much on Heyman and Brock Lesnar because at the end of the day, sounds like they were being dictated to how the promo was going to go, even though it was bone idle stupidity.
Absolutely.
Like some idiot backstage had turned around and Paul and said, "Right, you got to get Goldberg over in this promo." It's like, you do realise you're in the hometown of Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
And, well, to sum it up perfectly, the crowd was chanting Brock Lesnar Goldberg sucks. And then Paul Heyman was trying to cover up by saying, "Oh, stop chanting for Goldberg."
This was a very confusing promo because, like you say, they're in Minneapolis. They're not going to cheer for Goldberg.
No.
And you had the whole, "Oh, those who are chanting Suplex City, you're just jumping on the bandwagon."
Yeah.
And it's like, you're in his hometown. They're going to chant for him.
Yeah.
It's what hometowns always do.
You were there, Paul, when you were in Chicago a few times with Punk.
Oh, Christ.
That was woof. I would not like to have been at them events if Cena had won them matches.
No. Have you noticed that every time you do get one of those signs that says, "Oh, if Cena wins, we riot," he always tends to lose them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Count at least 3.
Yeah. So, after that very confusing segment, and initially, Paul was meant to announce when this prestigious fight between Brock and Goldberg was going to be taking place, but despite the fact it was probably Vince's idea, he was flipping off backstage because nobody was getting on board with the promo.
No.
We then got it confirmed the next day via WWE's Twitter account that it's confirmed now, Lesnar versus Goldberg going to be happening at Survivor Series.
My interest in this match is not very high, to say the least.
I think it'd be good to see the two of them wrestling again. All I pray is it's better than their WrestleMania 20 match.
Well, it can't be worse. But then they have surprised me in the past.
Yes. So, let's get on to the main event.
Yes, but quickly backtracking a little bit.
Yep.
We had a segment earlier in the night
We did.
where Jericho was looking for the list. He had the whole Stephanie McMahon thing saying, "Oh, if you don't compete, I'm going to suspend you."
Yep. Who had the list?
Braun Strowman.
This was a little bit weird though, because Chris was just like, "Give me the list back," and then he was sort of like, "Say please." And then he said, "Can I have the list of Jericho back, please?" And he handed it over to him.
Yeah.
And then as he walked off, that stupid idiot.
Yeah, and he said Sami Zayn's not on the list. And as he was walking off, Jericho went, "He's on page 4. Stupid idiot.
That would mean our main event was going ahead as planned.
Yeah.
Triple threat. It would be Seth Rollins versus Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, and this was actually quite an enjoyable match. Although they say triple threat, it was probably more of a handicap.
Yeah. One of the more enjoyable parts of Raw, definitely safe to say. Yeah, Seth took a pretty harsh power bomb to the apron.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No, impressively, this ended with Seth countering and ended up pinning both of them.
yeah, never saw that one coming. Very impressive.
It made sense. You need to keep Seth strong going into the Hell in a Cell. Although I am still confused as to who I'm supposed to be cheering for.
Yeah.
Because normally there comes a point where, well, if you're going to turn, the heel tends to side with the crowd.
Exactly.
And something gets explained. But we haven't had that yet.
No.
We haven't had, like, the proper definitive turn.
No, and I have a feeling we're probably not going to get it until Triple H reappears.
Which, knowing NXT commitments, might still take a while.
Yeah, not to mention they're going abroad in December. They're going to Australia and New Zealand and I think they might be adding Japan into it as well.
So we may not see Triple H until the new year now.
Yeah. Could even be as late as. Oh, God. Don't remind me of that pay per view. We could have to wait until Fastlane.
Oh, God.
Until we see it.
Is that still a thing?
Oh, I think it is, unfortunately. And I've noticed as well. What was that random pay per view they sort of laid on before WrestleMania?
Oh, Roadblock.
Yeah, Roadblock. Yeah, apparently that's now a full-fledged pay-per-view now.
Oh dear.
I think it's being held in December, I think.
Isn't December normally TLC?
Yeah, well, I think again, unfortunately, we're possibly having two pay-per-views. I'll have to check the calendar, the pay-per-view calendar, but yeah, it's definitely a full-fledged pay-per-view now.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, well, I think that about wraps it up for Raw.
Yeah, I think I've waffled enough.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it now.
Okay, here it goes. From your host, the master of the brain damage,
I've been Martin.
and the one and only Sam H. We will see you again for the next one. Peace out. And all that jazz.